Hi, it's Cheryl. It's been a minute since I've made a video, and I was thinking today that if I could tell anybody anything that might help them, it's just be prepared for a fight. If you decide to leave, it's going to be a fight. They will leave you with nothing if they can, and they will go out of their way to make that happen. I left in August of 24, so year and 2 months. I filed in October of last year, so a year ago. Nothing settled. We went to mediation. He decided after mediation he didn't want to sign it. Judge agreed with them, so I paid for mediation for no reason. He wanted to argue on what the house was worth, so we were fighting over that. So I had to pay to have two appraisals done because one as of mediation date and one as of current, and we have a trial date next month. And I have no idea why we're going to trial. I really don't. There's no point. He's not arguing that we should stay married. So what is the trial about? Just to have the judge say, hey, this is how much you owe? It seems like a waste of time and money to me, but it is what it is. So I would just say be prepared for a fight. This is cost now probably 5 times what it should have, and it's not done yet, and nothing's settled. And I really don't think he cares because he makes enough monthly to live on. So it doesn't affect him at all. It's all about punishment. It's all about making it as painful for me as possible. And whatever, as painful as it is, as hard as it's been, I can honestly say it's still better than living with him. That says a lot. I stayed longer than I should have by a long time. And then I stayed a few months after I told him I was leaving because I wanted to take my dogs with me. Thank God, because who knows what would have happened to them if I would have left them there. So, that wasn't an option for me. But as hard as it's been, it's still better than living there. I pride myself on being a good person. I go out of my way to do things for people. And at the end of the day, you have to realize that your reputation is going to get tarnished because they're going to tarnish it on purpose. And that was really hard for me because I don't talk to people. I'm not very I'm just not a people person. And so most people around here don't know me. So they hear stories and they might believe it because they've never met me or they don't know me on that level. There's not very many people that do. And that's on me, I guess. But that's just how I am. But I would just say be prepared to have your reputation get dragged through the mud. Be prepared for this to cost way more than it should. And just be prepared. And as hard as it's been, and it's been really hard. For one thing, I never lived by myself ever in my life. It's been hard. Not the living by myself. That's easy. It's actually a breath of fresh air. I can come home and I can relax. I never got that when I lived with him. Ever. I was never allowed to sit and relax without being made to feel guilty for it. And it's really difficult to explain to people how that works. Because even if he didn't say anything, it was implied. It was the looks you would get. It's the sighs you would get when you sat on the couch too long. It's really hard to explain that to people, especially when you first leave because you still are in that fog. And that didn't lift for a long time. It's still lifting. There's still stuff I'm figuring out now that I just thought it was me, and it wasn't me. It's I'm figuring out who I am because I became someone I didn't recognize. I wasn't I was never one to really speak up and say what was on my mind. I just, you know, keep the peace, keep the peace. But there comes a point when it doesn't even matter. You can't keep the peace because they choose not to let you have any peace. And that's really difficult because you look back on it, and it's like, I bent over backwards for what? I made myself sick for what? It's you do everything that you were, you know, supposed to do, and none of it mattered. And it was all on purpose. I wasn't a wife, I was a servant. I was his, you know, gopher. I was the everything. I was the cook, I was the maid, I was the tax preparer, I was the business owner, I was the you name it. I never made a dime on any of it. And then I worked full time and still got told I didn't work hard enough and I didn't have a good enough job and I didn't make enough. None of it mattered. So the only person I have to answer to now is me. And that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing because I'm the easiest boss I've ever had.